Stella, Splash, Simba, Hydrox, Ditto, and Boo, the Lucky Ferals.
It's about 9:15 a.m. right now, and Ditto is having his appetizer. He gets an appetizer in the morning, and it has some anti-cancer herbs in it. He's bleeding a little bit right now because I put all of his food through a blender, but for some reason there was something hard in this food, so it aggravated the wound in his mouth. But he ate it all, so I'm really happy. So now we wait a while. And in like an hour or two, he gets his meal. He's on one meal a day. And it's been that way for a few days now. And it seems to be working well for him. Yesterday, he had a ton of energy and he was in a really good mood. And right now, we could see he's struggling with the side of his face. It happens after he eats. Because, he's not healed yet. We're hoping we're on our way to healing with him. But, it still aggravates him after he eats. So he's getting a ton of natural supplements, a ton of nutrition. This morning, he was groomed and brushed and petted and wiped. And his right eye, if you can see it, but his third eyelid is inflamed. And I spoke to the vet about that, and they seem to feel that it could be a result of the swelling on the right side of his face. So that's where everything is right now. I'm going to let him just chill out, and I'm going to go about my morning routine, get the other cats fed, and then after everything else is done, I come back in and I give him enough calories for a full day, and then that's his meal until tomorrow. So he usually gets like 4 or 5 big plates of food, and he's been eating all of it. So let's hope that continues today. So yeah, you can see he is still having problems with that side of his face. It is still quite swollen, and we're trying to at least keep him stable and to make small improvements every day. There is no overnight quick fix for anything like this. This is something that takes work, and it takes time, and it takes patience and persistence. And that's what we're doing for Ditto. We are just going to be persistent and patient, and we are going to attempt to help him heal his body. It's about 11:45 a.m. right now. Ditto is on his second plate of breakfast. So I fill up these plates with all kinds of puree. It's basically like a meat smoothie with fresh grass, fresh cat grass. I mix it in, so it's kind of like a green smoothie also. And he gets lots of supplements and herbs, and he's on glandulars and all kinds of healthy things. He's getting some fish oil and lots of vitamins and minerals, and just loading him up with nutrition. On his paw, you can see there's a little bit of blood. So after he ate his first plate of food, he then, adjusted his mouth. He does that thing he does. And sometimes he then grooms himself with his paw. So that's why you'll see some discoloration on that paw. The goal is to get a full day's worth of calories into him in one meal. That way his mouth has about 24 hours to rest. And for cats, it's fine for them to have one meal a day. You want to make sure that they have a meal a day. Like, you don't want them to go longer than 24 hours without eating anything. But when they're living in nature, there are days where, they'll hunt something, have a big meal, and then that'll be it. So Ditto did really, really well yesterday. He had his meal, and then he relaxed under the day sofa on the heated pet mat, and he rested. And then later in the day, he was enjoying the round cat bed that I have on top of the day sofa. He was actually laying like Simba, like all stretched out, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. And I did not want to disturb him, so that's why I didn't film anything. And then later on, he moved out of the bed onto the day sofa, and again, he was all stretched out, so I took that as a good sign. Then he was hanging out by the windows, and last night, I hung out with him for a while. So usually what happens is I spend time with him in the morning. He eats his breakfast, and then I let him alone during the day because I want him to rest. And when he was outside, he slept during the day, so that's what I want him to do. I want him to sleep during the day. This is what he does with his mouth after he eats. He adjusts it because, he does have like that wound on the right side. So what I'm going to do is I'll put another plate of food together for him, and then I'll continue this conversation. Actually, he's going to finish what's on that plate. Sometimes I just have to push it into a pile and put a little bit of a squeeze up on it, then he finishes it. It's very important for him to eat as much of the food that's on each plate because that's, where he's getting his, natural medications and supplements and stuff. So I try to encourage him to eat as much as he can. So what I was saying was during the day, I kind of like let him stay on his own. And then at night, after I give the other cats crunchies, what I do is I come in here and I spend some time with Ditto. And we'll watch TV together, or I'll watch TV and he just wants a million pets. And he gets brushed. And then after that, sometimes I'll fall asleep on the day sofa and I'll see what he does. And yesterday was the first day that before I fell asleep, he actually went into the round cat bed. So I was laying here on the day sofa, and there's the round cat bed. And while I was laying here, he jumped into the round cat bed. And he snuggled up and he went to sleep. And I was like, wow, that's a first for him. He's starting to really feel more comfortable. So then I ended up putting this arm down. This arm goes down. And I slept on the day sofa with him probably until about 4 a.m. Then I woke up at 4 a.m. and I moved to my room. So see what he does? He grooms himself with the paw. And that's why that paw is discolored, because he does have some blood coming out of his mouth occasionally. So I'm going to go and put his third plate of food together, and I'll be back. Ditto's now on his third plate of food. Also, when he eats, I have to kind of just be really still and calm and not do anything that distracts him. Even filming this and talking like this right now, I've been hesitant to do this just because I don't want to distract him from his food. This is his most important part of the day other than resting. And this is the most difficult part of the day for him, eating, because of the nature of his mouth wound. So it's good that he has an appetite. That's really good. And it's good that he's willing to eat. So what I do is I make the food in plate-sized batches. I have a mini food processor that I've been using. The reason why I do that is in case he doesn't want to eat a certain food, then I'll swap it out. So like today he's getting some canned food. It's turkey and salmon. And I mix in some fresh raw chicken liver and chicken heart. So it's like half raw and half canned. And then I put all the supplements in that he's getting. And he seems to really like that. But sometimes there's days where I'll make him something and he just doesn't want to eat it. So then I'll be like, okay, well, let me make you something else. So that's what was happening. He was getting some raw ground turkey and some raw ground beef and some raw ground chicken that I mix in with the liver and the hearts. But he really, really likes the canned food, so I'm giving him a little bit of that, and I'm being much more aggressive with the supplements that I'm putting in his food. So we're just taking it one day at a time, and we're seeing how things go. The goal is just to keep him at least stable and not getting worse. If we could stabilize him, then maybe we can move in the direction of improvement. I'm hopeful that we can get there, because it is a slow process. Again, it's not like an overnight process. A lot of the supplements that he's on have to kind of build up in his system, and kind of, they take their time to start working. So we also have to remember that we're trying to rebalance his entire body chemistry. And that takes a while to do also. I would like to get him pooping on a more regular basis, so he is getting a supplement that is full of probiotics and also has some psyllium seed husk in there. And yesterday was the first time he got that, and yesterday he made a giant poop. He's been pooping on average like once every 3 days. If we could get that to once a day, we can definitely move in a better direction. The more he eliminates, the better it is. So he's using litter boxes fine, he's peeing fine, and he's pooping fine. It's just, I would like him to poop more than he's pooping. And obviously he's on pretty much kind of like a liquid diet. I would say the food that he's eating kind of has the consistency of a milkshake, if that makes sense. I try to make sure it's as smooth as possible. Sometimes it's a little bit thinner than a milkshake, but usually that's around the texture that it is and the thickness that it is. He's not getting any dairy products. I'm just using that as a comparison example because most people are familiar with the thickness and texture of a milkshake. I'm happy he's enjoying his food. And if he finishes this plate, he'll have one more plate to go. This is plate 3. He usually goes through about 4 plates. So there's 95 calories on this plate. The plate number 2 is 95 also. And then he had 70 calories and 20 calories. So if you add those up, that's about 280 calories, I think. I don't know, I just did that in my head. I like to get him around 300 a day. Just because they say that when cats are dealing with health issues, it's good for them to get extra calories. Okay, so he might take a break, adjust his mouth. What I'll do is I'll see if I could push everything together on the plate, put a squeeze up on it, and maybe he'll finish eating. So that's what I did. I have like a little silicone spatula that I use sometimes, but today I just took the end of the squeeze up tube, the end that's not like ripped open, the opposite end, and I move everything around with that, and then I use the opened end to just put a little bit more of the squeeze up on the food that's in the middle of the plate. Again, with cats, they're all different, so it's just a lot of trial and error until you find something that works with your cat. All cats are different. I doubt if, this was Stella, Boo, Splash, or Simba, that it would be exactly the same. They would all have different preferences and, different quirks and different things about what they like and what they don't like and what entices them to eat and what doesn't. So this is what seems to be working for Ditto right now. So he did good. You did really good. I'm going to make you one more plate, Ditto, okay? So another thing that I do with these plates, because I don't know how many plates full of food he's going to eat, is I put the most important supplements in like the first plate, and then the second plate still has important supplements. I just kind of try to front load them with the most important supplement in the first plate. So if that's all he eats. The thing is, with the supplements that I'm giving him, like these herbs and vitamins and stuff like that, they do have taste, they do have flavor, and that's why I can't just like load them all into one plate of food and that's it. Because oftentimes, if there's too much in one plate, it overpowers the taste of the food, and then he won't eat it. So the goal is to get him to actually eat everything. And because of where his wound is in his mouth, I can't really take a syringe and put the remedies in his mouth that way. I can't do it because of the issue with his mouth. He won't let me do that. The stain on the rug that you see there was from some blood the other day, probably over a week ago. he sat there and he dripped some blood out of his mouth. And I've been trying to only use natural cleaners in here, so I wasn't really able to get it as clean as I would like it, but I have 2 other rugs. So these rugs are $14.99 from the Christmas tree shop. It's like a 4x6 area rug, and they had a sale the other day, or they had a coupon, 20% off. So I got 2 more of these rugs. I just need to swap it out, but I'm just gonna kind of wait a few more days before I do that, because I'm trying not to do too many things that disturb him in a day, like too many things that are going to be unsettling for him. So this is Ditto's 4th and final plate of food. I actually had the numbers wrong. This brings him up to about 334 calories for this meal, or for today. Sometimes it's confusing because I was looking at what he ate yesterday versus what he ate today, and sometimes I vary things a little bit. So also on this last plate, what I do is I give him some CBD oil. I gave him about 9 drops yesterday, and that seemed to be a really good amount for him. So today I gave him 10 drops. I give him an extra drop just in case he doesn't eat everything on the plate. And the reason why I give him that is just to help him relax and to help with some pain. I tried giving him a bigger dose, and I found that it made him just really more lethargic and sleepy. And yesterday it was kind of like a medium dose, and it seemed to be a really good dose for him. He was very, very happy all afternoon, so that seemed to work well. Also, to entice him to eat other than squeeze-ups, I use Fortiflora, which are little packets of probiotics, and they have like a liver flavor and some nutritional yeast in there. They're not one of my favorite products, but they do entice cats to eat, and Ditto really enjoys it. So I sprinkle the tiniest bit on top. They say 1 envelope is good for 1 cat for 1 day. Like, that's the dose, 1 envelope per cat per day. And what I do is I just open up an envelope and sprinkle just the slightest bit on his food, and usually that helps to entice him to eat because he really likes the flavor of it. And my goal is just to make sure I could get all this nutrition in him, because, fingers crossed, it seems to at least be stabilizing him and keeping his quality of life good right now. He had a very good day yesterday, and the day before he had a good day. So we just want him to continue to have good days. And, he's still making progress. The fact that he slept in his round cat bed on the day sofa while I was laying on the day sofa, that's great progress for him. He loves getting pets. He loves being brushed. Like, he just loves attention so much. So he definitely has a very strong will to live, and he's definitely really happy in this room. And we're going to continue to try to make him better and to restore his health. And, it can be a long, slow process, but let's hope it continues in a positive direction. Ditto's finishing everything that's on his plate. Okay, so Ditto was still hungry, so I gave him a 5th plate of food. This is some of the homemade raw chicken liver and chicken heart puree with a little bit of baby food. It's the beef baby food. He gets like a teaspoon of it. And then also some of the fresh cat grass. I cut it up and put it in there and blend it like a smoothie. And some water. He's getting some Evian. And I gave him just a few more drops of the CBD oil. Like another 3 drops. This is it for him. Hopefully he's not still hungry after this plate of food. So this will bring him up to maybe like 380 calories. Somewhere between like 350 and 380. Chicken liver and chicken hearts are extremely nutrient dense, and they have a good amount of calories. They're also very high in taurine, which cats need, and very high in iron, which Ditto needs since his blood test showed that he was a little bit anemic. So, as you can see, Ditto has a very good appetite, thankfully. He's very hungry. And it takes me probably over an hour in the morning to get him fed like this, including, all of his grooming and brushing and wiping him. And then later on in the day, what I'll do is I'll come in and clean his litter and wipe down the room, clean by the windows, and change the towels. So I'm basically doing his laundry like every day or every other day. It's about an hour later. Do you see Ditto? He's laying on the day sofa. He was laying in the round cat bed, but it might have gotten a little bit too warm for him because it's kind of warm today. And now he's on the day sofa. It's another hour later, and look at what's going on now. Ditto's all stretched out on the day sofa. He's a very happy cat. The bedding is turned up. I think I left it that way. Ditto did not turn up the bedding like that. See how that bedding is all on top? It should be hanging down. I probably left it up when I was cleaning underneath. So it's now the following day, and today is day 50 of Ditto being inside. So he is doing well today also. He's the same as yesterday, which is stable. Well, I'm hoping he's stable. He doesn't seem to be getting worse. Fingers crossed. And I've been really superstitious about posting updates. I've just been really hesitant and cautious about posting updates because I don't want to post an update saying how good he's doing and then, the next day he takes a turn for the worse. So we're really just taking everything day by day. But I did want to post an update because it's been almost 2 weeks since the last real-time update. And I've spent so much time researching so many possible treatments and things that can help Ditto. And I've ordered so many different things online, quite a few books. Some have been dead ends and others have been helpful. Same thing with regards to supplements and products. Some have been more helpful than others, but it's really kind of trial and error at this point because from what I can tell is when most people get a diagnosis that Ditto had, they don't try to do much to change that. I was reading a very long list of comments from people that had cats in very similar situations to Ditto. And many people just took a very negative outlook right away. Now, I understand that in some situations, like with Hydrox's situation, we did the best that we could for Hydrox, and it got to a point where the best thing for Hydrox was to eliminate her pain and to help her have a passing that was as humane as possible instead of suffering for days. And it was just better for her. But because Ditto has so much life in him at this point, and he seems to be doing well other than having his mouth issue, it's really beneficial for us to try to do what we can for him, because I also feel that anything that we can do for him, if we do have success in anything, it will not only help him, but it can also help other people who have cats in similar situations. And from what I'm reading online, I don't think anybody has a cat on the protocol that I have Ditto on right now. In fact, I know that. I know for certain, out of all the research that I've done and out of all the comments that I've read from people who had cats with similar conditions and the same diagnosis, nobody put their cat on the regimen that I have Ditto on right now. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be a cure-all for Ditto. I'm just reinforcing the fact that we are definitely in uncharted territory right now. And it would be wonderful if we can make substantial advances in healing this type of condition. That would be amazing. So I'm just happy Ditto's eating right now. He's on his second plate of breakfast, so he had his appetizer with his first round of herbal meds. And then he had his second plate of food, which was loaded up with more supplements. And this is his third plate, which is again loaded up with supplements. If he finishes this plate, he'll get a fourth plate. So he's eating 1 ounce of ground chicken, a half of an ounce of ground chicken liver. This is all raw. Half of an ounce of ground chicken hearts, about 3 ounces of water to mix it to the right consistency. He's getting a calcium supplement in there, some powdered eggshells. He's getting some fresh oat grass, so it's kind of like a green smoothie for cats. And he's getting probiotic supplement, which also has some digestive herbs in there. And he's getting glandulars, which is a product that is made from animal products, which is what we want for carnivores. And it helps all of the various glands and organs in his body. And what else did I put in there? Oh, and he's also getting a bunch of the herbal medications to support his kidneys and his endocrine glands. So he's getting a glandular to support his glands. He's also getting herbs to support his glands. And he's getting herbs to support his lymphatic system. And that's just in this one plate of food. He got other supplements in his first plate of food. So every plate that he eats, not only am I happy that he's eating the food, but I'm really happy that he's just getting so much of the nutrition that these supplements are hopefully providing for him. And so that is the end of this update. Again, I'm just feeling really superstitious about posting updates because I don't want to celebrate too much because, again, we're just taking things one day at a time. And I'm just very happy that he seems to be stable right now. So the past several days on this once-a-day feeding schedule, he's been much more active, and he seems to be very happy and content, and hopefully it's helping him to heal. But again, only time will tell. Right now we're taking it one day at a time. And I want to also stress that we don't want anyone to worry. We don't want anyone to create any kind of negative thought forms that worrying creates, because what you think about, you bring about. So we only want thoughts of healing and health. So if you could send positive thoughts of healing to Ditto, imagine his mouth perfectly healthy, and imagine all the swelling down, and imagine his eye perfectly healthy, his eye still inflamed. So imagine the entire right side of his face being perfectly healthy. And that is what we want. That's what we want to create. So we want to think about that because that's what we want to bring about. What you think about, you bring about. So thanks for watching this video. We hope you're doing well. We hope you're enjoying the holiday season. The other cats are doing well. They've been getting extra playtime every day. So kind of as their advent calendar this year, they're getting special playtime every day. And Ditto says, thank you so much for all of your well wishes and all of your support and your positive energy and your prayers. And he says, keep them coming. He really enjoys receiving them. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.